In the headlines, suspected hoodlums set Abeokuta INEC office on fire as commissions say that 65,699 uncollected PVCs destroyed in Ogun and Osun attacks. Kaduna State Government debunks fresh bandit attack on Kaduna-Abuja Road. House of Representatives Committee rejects National Population Census 2022 budget defense, demands detailed report on 1.9 billion naira summit. And away from Nigeria, South Africa public sector workers strike over wage demands. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. Suspected arsonists have reportedly set ablaze an office of the Independent National Electoral Commission at Iyano Mortuary, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Our sources say that the hoodlums, numbering about 8, had jumped over the fence into the premises and set fire to the INEC building. The security guard at the facility, Aziz Hamzat, was said to have made a distress call to the police around 1 a.m. on Thursday over the incident. The arsonists were said to have soaked loaves of bread with petrol and thrown them into the building before policemen from Ibarra Division were mobilized to the scene while firefighters put out the fire. A source hinted that non-sensitive materials were also affected by the fire. The INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Nii Ijalai, confirmed the incident. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission on Thursday said that 65,699 uncollected permanent voters' cards were destroyed by hoodlums who attacked 2 of its offices in Ogun and Osun State. According to the chairman, INEC Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, 904 ballot boxes, 29 voting cubicles, 30 megaphones, 57 election bags and 8 electric power generators were also destroyed. The attacks occurred separately at the Commission's offices in Abeokuta South Local Government Area of Ogun State and the Ede South Local Government Area of Osun State. Okoye, in a statement, said that both incidents occurred in the early hours of Thursday, noting that while the entire building of its Abeokuta office was set ablaze, a portion of its Ede office was burnt. The Independent National Electoral Commission in the Federal Capital Territory has scheduled 2 weeks for the display of the preliminary voters' register to entertain claims and objections ahead of the 2023 polls. The Commission also calls on registrants who successfully completed their registrations for the voters' card to take advantage of the ongoing collection of the available PVCs as notified by text messages. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports.
With campaigns ongoing, the Independent National Electoral Commission in the FCT, which will be conducting only the presidential and National Assembly elections, also says it will be monitoring campaigns and urged political parties to focus on issue-based campaigns to ensure a smooth process.
No violent use of any physical force during political campaigns. No political campaign to be conducted inside the premises of religious organizations. That includes the mosque, inside the church, and inside the shrine. No political campaign will be based on ethnicity or religious persuasions, and that we should avoid free speech.
On the state of preparedness for the conduct of the 2023 election, the FCT INEC said preliminary voter register is to be released from the 12th through 25th November 2022.
INEC is going to display, the voters register. This is for the purpose of all our citizens who have registered, to partake in this election, to go through in their respective localities and see the registers, so that if they have any claims and objections, they can raise them. We start by 9 a.m. in the morning and close 3 o'clock in the afternoon, And it's going to be at the registration areas or what level.
The FCT INEC says introduction of short messaging services for PVC collection is to lessen the burden of voters and to reach every locality to ensure appropriate distributions, as there will be no collections by proxies.
We have devised new means, a departure from the previous election, whereby all those who partook in this election, most of them have been identified and being notified through SMS to come to so and so places and collect their PVCs.
The SMS was sent to those whose cards are available with us now. And by the time we receive the next batch of the PVC, they will also send messages to those new cards that will come later.
Maximum collection of voters' cards and turnout on election day are crucial in determining the democratic outcomes of elections. The Commission hopes the country's democracy does not continue to suffer from the double apathy of voters' card collection and low turnout on election day. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Similarly, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Zamfara State said that it will display voters' register on Saturday, 12th of November 2022, ahead of the 2023 general elections. The state's resident Electoral Commission (INEC) Professor Saidu Babura said this while briefing journalists in Gusau, where he advised registered voters to take advantage and raise any objection. The report is here presented.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) said it has mapped out communities that have been sacked by suspected terrorists in Zamfara State in its preparation for the 2023 general elections. The Commission is calling on registered voters to come to the Commission State's office in Gusau and local government offices from Saturday 12th November 2022 to check their data if there are omissions or commissions so that it will be addressed on time. The resident Electoral Commissioner Zamfara State, Professor Saidu Babura, assured that the IDPs will also be considered and it will be ensured that they exercise their franchise wherever they are. Babura disclosed that the Commission in the state has started receiving non-sensitive electoral materials as part of efforts to ensure smooth, free, credible and transparent 2023 general elections.
On Saturday, 12th of November, the voters register 2011 and 22 registers will be displayed in the INEC office, head office here in this office, as well as in all the 14 local government areas in Zamfara State. It is important for us, for the public, to check the registers and for one to ensure first his or her name is included. We will do our best, to our best of ability, that all those that are displaced because of security are also given the chance to also vote.
Babura also highlighted some areas that voters can raise objection, like underage voter registration, non-citizen, and one who has died.
You can observe not only your own name, but other names. One may notice, for example, that someone has died, but is still captured. If that is so, for example, if someone you claim to have died and has already been captured, then that is an objection. Then, of course, you can also make an objection on if you notice that some of those registered are underage, and other thing, or some other reasons that you think they should not be actually, or they are not indigenous of Nigeria.
The Zamfara resident electoral commissioner said the commission had cleaned up voters' registration and will only display those who do not have double registrations in the state.
The Kaduna State government says messages about a fresh bandit attack and an alleged blockade of the Kaduna-Abuja road are false. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, in a statement on Thursday, described the reports as mischievous and advised citizens and road users to disregard them. The statement explained that the state government is in constant touch with security agencies in the area and are constantly following security situation on the Kaduna-Abuja road and other locations. Aruwan, who noted that the government is not living in denial of security challenges confronting the state, however, described as unfortunate how some individuals and groups continue to undermine the sacrifices of security agencies and the government. The Nigerian Army has debunked allegations that troops of the headquarters of 82 Division invaded Amangu community in Abia State. A statement from the Director of Army Public Relations, Onyema Nwachukwu, said troops had embarked on a search and rescue operation at Amangu village forest, having confirmed same as an IPOB and Eastern Security Network enclave where a soldier, Basi Ikunugwa, who was earlier abducted, was reportedly held hostage. Ikunugwa, who was officially on leave pass, was abducted along Oku Ibem or Hafia Road in Abia State. Nwachukwu noted that during the search and rescue operations, contact was made with members of the proscribed armed groups, resulting in the exchange of fire, wherein the troops neutralized one of the criminals and recovered one AK-47 rifle with a magazine loaded with 7 rounds of 7.62 mm and one mobile phone. He said that the Army will leave no stone unturned in the search for the abducted soldier and assured that the public that all operations will be conducted within the ambit of the law and in line with global best practices, rules of engagement and code of conduct guiding Army operations. Zamfara State Governor Mohammed Matawale has offered to allow EFCC access to the property. The state government alleged it found a large amount of cash stashed in it. The Commissioner for Information, Ibrahim Magaji Dosara, said the decision became necessary in view of the level of allegations. To demonstrate the commitment of the state government in the direction, the governor has already directed his attorney to officially communicate to the anti-graft agency. According to the commissioner, Zamfara state government under the present administration has never paid workers' salary through table payment and cannot afford to do so at this time. The statement further indicated that already the state government has tendered legal documents to the EFCC. A federal high court in Kano has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to produce the senatorial candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for Kano Central, Abdul Karim Abdul Salam, for arraignment in his fraud-related case. The presiding judge, Justice Muhammad Nasiru Yunusa, gave the order on Thursday after the prosecution again informed the court that the defendant was absent in court as he was at the last two sittings. Abdul Karim Abdul Salam was accused of defrauding a Kuwaiti national of $1.3 million and was billed for arraignment after the Court of Appeal quashed the earlier discharge and acquittal judgment of the court and ordered his retrial. During the court sitting on Thursday, his counsel, Ibrahim Waru, told the court that the matter was adjourned for the adoption of written addresses in respect of whether or not the defendant must be present in court before an application challenging the jurisdiction of the court can be entertained. However, the prosecution counsel told the court that he said that the said application was not ripe for hearing because the defendant was not in court. Delivering a bench ruling, Justice Yunusa held that the position of the court was that the defendant should be produced, adding that where that has not been done, the court has the duty to insist that due process be followed. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says his life is being threatened for working to reform the nation's oil sector. Kyari said this on Wednesday while delivering a keynote address at the Legislative Transparency and Accountability Summit organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Anti-Corruption. This is as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrashid Bawa, on Wednesday stated that the anti-graft agency was currently investigating allegations of crude oil theft in the country in addition to fighting corruption, which has become an epidemic in many developing oil and gas-rich countries. The stakeholders at the event pledged to contribute their quota to the development of the extractive sector in the interest of the country.
This is the cost of change. When people walk away from things that they are used to something that is new, something that will take away value and benefit from them, they will react. And that reaction is beneficial to us, for all of us that will work together to make sure that this works.
My office is currently engrossed in the investigation of allegations of crude oil theft. In addition to fighting corruption, which is epidemic in many developing oil and gas-rich countries, transparency supports accountability and reduces inefficiencies.
We are focused on the sectors that facilitate IFFs, notably the oil and gas, trade and investment, taxation, and the environment. We teach and tell the officers what to look for in agreements and commercial arrangements in the quest to trace, to stop, and to recover diverted or stolen assets.
In line with the pledge of the 9th House of Representatives to be at the forefront of promoting accountability and transparency in our national life.
How come that Nigeria, a country so rich in natural resources like oil and gas, does not manage to benefit from this richness and to extend this benefit to its citizens through sustainable development? It's not always easy explaining how such a resource-rich country and the biggest producer of oil and gas in sub-Saharan Africa is at the same time one of the lowest-ranking countries in the UN Human Development.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how females are embracing male-dominated profession. Details of this and more after the break.
That's great. That's good to see you.
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. Here's a recap of our top stories again. Suspected hoodlum set Abeokuta INEC office on fire as Commission says 65,699 uncollected PVCs destroyed in Ogun-Osun attacks. Kaduna State Government debunks fresh bandit attack on Kaduna-Abuja Road. Elsewhere, the House of Representatives Committee on Population has ordered the National Population Commission to submit a detailed document of how over 1.9 billion naira was expended for a one-day summit held in August at the Presidential Villa. Chairman of the committee, Mohammed Lawan, gave the order after a discrepancy was detected during a budget defense session of the National Population Commission held in Abuja on Wednesday. The report.
Lawan insisted that due to the discrepancies noticed, the committee cannot consider the 2022 budget defense.
Distinguished colleagues, we have decided that you should go and come back with proper documentation for the committee. As far as we're concerned, my colleagues are not satisfied with what is being submitted this morning.
Earlier, members had queried how the amount was expended by the Commission on a one-day summit.
The 1.2 billion expended for that summit, is it only for the villa event? Or is it the villa event and also stakeholders conferences that were held at the various 36 states of the country?
NPC officials explained that 129.5 million naira was expended for the Villa Summit and not 1.9 billion naira, adding that the 1.9 billion naira covers for all the states under the capital expenditure.
The 1.9 billion was for the total for the entire program, and the national was 129,520 million. And the national stakeholder is very necessary because we've got to start from the top.
126,520 million. That is the one in FCT Abuja with the president. But the remaining 1.2 billion is for 36 states and FCT.
The committee resolved that the National Population Commission and National Census make available all documents in relation to the summit on next Wednesday.
Now, the adage that the woman's place is in the home or kitchen seems to be fading away as girls are gradually getting more involved in male-dominated professions in Nigeria. In this special report, some female apprentices shared their experiences with Nafisa Bello on why they opted to be in a male-dominated field.
In Nigeria, the art of tailoring, hairdressing, and catering are among the handworks traditionally associated with the female folks, but the trend seems to be changing. A visit to some mechanic workshops in Benin City, the Edo State capital, showed these girls exhibiting the zeal to try their hands on something different from the aforementioned jobs, leading them to apprenticeship in motor mechanic, a career, they say, they are sure to excel in.
It was part of our subject when I was in secondary school, auto mechanic work. So they taught us more. We were allowed to learn different skills of our choices. So I picked auto mechanic work to learn. So with that I was exposed to the work. So
I love this work. I passionately love it. I don't feel intimidated. I don't feel embarrassed. I'm just okay. I'm fine. Even putting on the overall, I'm okay with it. Even if you tell me to wear the overall home, I would gladly do it. Why? Because that's my dream. So I just thought of doing something different aside those other things like hairdressing and tailoring, because that was the most common thing among females and I don't like it. So my grandmom, she thought of something. She now said, what's up if I just go into something like cars, where I use computers to check cars. So that was enough for myself. I don't know more things. I don't know many things. I'm still learning. So that's maybe once I'm truly learning, I'll be able to stand outside because I know that I have something. I can do something. I have something else there.
At one of the workshops, it was observed that most of the apprentices, male and female, are being trained freely. The owner of the workshop, Osaro Ogunwe, explained what it takes to make sure they take the job seriously.
So when you come, if you want to learn as a male or female, when you are learning, process of learning, you don't have to have a girlfriend. So it enables you to learn the work properly. So that is how we learn our work.
For a better and developed society and to change the narrative, it is expected that women are allowed to try their hands on any profession of their choice, instead of being stereotyped on particular ones. Nafisa Bello, Trust TV News, Benin.
President Muhammadu Buhari says there is no going back on the redesign of the Naira, which is expected to take effect in December. He spoke on the sidelines of his meeting in London with the King of England, Charles III, at the Buckingham Palace on Wednesday, where the two leaders spoke about deepening ties and improving trade relations between their countries. Kehinde Amodu reports.
This meeting with the King of England should have happened some time ago in Kigali, but it was postponed. There's no better time to have it than now, with President Buhari in London on a 2-week medical break. The first thing the president will do is humorously reassure Nigerians that he is well.
I'm very healthy.
The meeting with the British monarch centers around improving trade relations between Nigeria and the UK, especially now that Britain needs its strategic partners around it more than ever.
Well, it's mostly economic. Let the Nigerian businessmen and the British one continue to work together and let them, make sure that the relationship is improved instead of allowing it to go down. Nigeria has a large market. You know Nigerians.
The UK has come out of the European Union, and so its old partners like Nigeria and other Commonwealth countries are going to be ever more important to it, and so that trust that exists between the two of them, will also help to propel that increased business relationship between the two countries.
Back to issues at home, the president is insistent that there will be no going back on the redesign of the Naira.
There will be people a lot of money, but time has been given from October to December, 3 months. Is enough, whatever money you have, to get it changed through a legal system. So I don't know why people are complaining about it. There's no going back.
With elections barely 4 months away, President Buhari says he will not manipulate the polls to anyone's favor.
So Nigerians should vote for whoever they like from whichever party. Nobody will be allowed to mobilize resources and thugs to intimidate people in any constituency. That's what I want to go down into Nigerian history for.
But the president is clear that his party, the All Progressives Congress, will win next year's elections because of the antecedents and achievements of APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu. Tracking the president in London, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Now, away from Nigeria, thousands of public servants began a one-day strike in South Africa on Thursday over wage demands. The work stoppage is being led by one of South Africa's largest public service unions, the Public Servants Association, which has some 235,000 members. The dispute over public servants' salaries flared up after Labour Minister Thulas Nxesi announced last week that he would increase salaries by 3%, while the unions were demanding 6.5%. Picket lines were observed during the day around central government offices in Pretoria by strikes in the health, immigration and police sectors. According to the PSA, the strike was expected to have a serious impact on the Department of Home Affairs, Transport and Customs Services. According to the union, the minister's irresponsible attitude has degraded already fragile social relations and deepened the lack of trust with the social partners. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching.